You're listening to The Hardpoint with Onexpunchxdad and Code Rome's.
It's the 45th episode of The Hardpoint. My name is Josh, and I go by Onexpunchxdad online.
My name is Cody, and I go by Seamer.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Well, I didn't know you could, dude. That voice is really gnarly. I like that.
Should I start talking like this?
Yeah.
It's harder to do it with long, complete sentences.
You gotta practice that as you go.
I'm gonna be overexposed if I do it too much.
Gonna rip up those vocal cords a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. Episode number 45. Hey, real quick, want to say sorry about the technical goof on the episode last week. You only got a fraction of the show. Think we worked out all the kinks. If you've been with us for a long time, you know that's a fairly scarce occurrence.
Fairly
Rare.
It's been a while. I think we can say at this point that
it's not
it's a rare fuck up.
It's not an isolated incident. But it's also
the last time we messed up was back in the teens.
That's true.
I think we navigated our 20s and 30s without any major hiccups.
We did, but it is the common denominator is it is generally my fault when it happens. So to all of our loyal listeners, just want to give a heartfelt suck it up and deal with it. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't blame you, by the way.
I
said it was we lost it due to corruption.
Corruption. I am here to fight corruption.
Just technically true. That was the most casual pullout of a giant gun I've ever seen.
It is, and it's not.
Is that like a?
It's a
what is that?
It's a Fortnite gun.
Scar.
It's like the Fortnite scar. Like my
That's
son's
really
had
cool.
it, and this is like the one toy that they've gotten in a long time where I was like, it's mine now. No, dude, this is okay. I think we talked about this at one point on the show. Nerf guns have gotten really cool. This one I think takes batteries. It doesn't have batteries in it right now, but the clip comes out.
That's wild, bro. And the stock looks like it folds. It looks like it does.
I don't think it does, but even so, like this right here is enough for me.
No, that's wild.
And then the sights kind of fold.
Yeah, looks like it has some weight to it. Maybe
it's got a rail, so you could put like an optic on it.
What does that shoot?
Nerf darts.
Okay.
The standard Nerf caliber.
Do you have one like readily available you could fire at that door behind you?
There's probably one within arm's reach of me because they're all over my house. But this takes batteries, and I haven't put batteries in it yet. But it is. Does
it take like 8-9 volts or something insane?
Probably, yeah, or like 30 AA's more likely. We have to if you have 4 kids, and you're not buying the Sam's Club pack of AA's, you're wasting your money. You have to have the massive foot long, I don't know, 36
just triple row of battery. I was thinking the other day that how like when somebody moves into a new place or like a wedding registry or stuff like that, a great gift to get somebody to kind of start their life off or to furnish their new place would be a giant pack of assorted batteries.
A lot, yeah. That is true. Like
You'll be the unsung hero.
You do like mixed nuts. Why don't we do like a trail mix of batteries?
Yeah, just a bag with a bunch of different batteries in it,
or a big can. Or probably like some safety stuff involved there. But either way, put them in the shrink wrap. I don't care, but give me, I don't know. I probably need less 9 volts, right? What do you use 9 volts for? You use them for fire alarms.
Yeah.
Use them for, I don't know what.
That's it, as
Yeah.
far as I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's like the most
9
common
volt.
use of a 9-volt battery. That and licking it.
What does
which-
that do?
Have you never licked a 9-volt battery?
Does it make you feel like you're smoking a cigarette?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's hard. I wish you had one.
Hold on. I had this memory in my head when I was a little kid and I was with my mom and some guy came up and said, if you lick a battery, it feels like you're smoking a cigarette. And that was deep in the annals of my memory. And for some reason, when you just said lick a battery, what is your use case for licking it? Are you going to fill me in?
Well,
what are you talking about?
Well, if you lick it and it's fresh, it's going to shock the bejesus out of you.
Oh.
If your tongue connects the socket post to the whatever, the male to the female end,
right,
it's going to shock the ever living shit out of you. But if it's dying, you just get kind of like a tiny zap. But a full blown 9-volt battery will
send your ass through the wall.
No, it's not like that. But you'll be like, ow, it will hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know why they don't make a party pack of batteries.
Back to that.
There's a hole in the market, Josh.
That is a great
hardpoint battery.
the hardpoint variety battery pack. Man, that's a good vocal warm up right there. I think batteries are a great home warming gift.
Yeah. It's the thing like you didn't know you need, but you did.
Yeah.
You'll be the hero they didn't know they needed.
I'm trying so hard not to burp right now.
I want some Wingstop so bad. Let it rip, my guy. Let it rip.
Not happening. Cody doesn't like me to drink my beverage on the show because it makes me burp, and I told him I'm not going to burp. And I'm not going to burp.
And we bet some Wingstop. And we're, 3 minutes in and you're already struggling?
We're 7
Go ahead and take you
minutes
another
in.
big, giant gulp of that.
I ain't afraid. Hey, you took a trip out of town this last weekend. You want to talk about that for a little bit while I take another sip from my drink?
We went to the bustling town.
The metropolis.
The metropolis of Baird, Texas.
Yes, sir.
And not only
We
did we go to Baird, go ahead.
I was gonna say we got roots there.
We do got roots there. Now, Baird is already like nothing. It's outside of Abilene. It's the town you've never heard of that's close to Abilene. Now, go to that town that's nothing, and then drive like 20 minutes outside of that. And then turn down a road that says
Belle Plaine.
Cemetery.
Belle Plaine
in the middle of
Cemetery.
nowhere. Belle Plaine Cemetery. In the middle of nowhere. It's a dirt road. Turn down that road. Drive another 10 minutes. And you might be getting close.
Off the
where
grid.
Our grandparents live.
You're
and
off the
Josh's
grid.
parents live. It is so off the grid, it's not even funny. We went down there so we have a baby. And our grandparents are getting very, very old. Very, very, very old.
Very old.
And I wanted them to meet my daughter. And ideally, they would come to us, but it's just not feasible. And I haven't seen them in a while, probably since my wedding 2 years ago. So my wife and I and my mom, who's kind of like our VIP babysitter when we need. She's great.
Right.
It's awesome.
Right.
All loaded up, went down to Baird, hung out, saw my aunt and uncle, which is Josh's parents, and our grandparents. It was a great trip. It was a long trip. Luckily, my daughter slept the entire way there and back. It's only like a 2 hour and 45-minute drive, but there and back, you're talking about 6 hours, which isn't the longest drive in the world, but like it was 6 hours of driving for probably 2 hours of
Hanging out.
yes, like the ratio of reward to travel was, way off.
So we got to talk about this though, because I'm just so blown away that you didn't want to stay the night in our grandparents' home, where they keep it at a median temperature of 89 degrees Fahrenheit at all times.
And our grandma will have like a blanket over her legs.
Yeah, I'm cold. Are you guys not cold?
That is so on. And when I leave, Pops will be like, "Well, we got a bedroom in there for you anytime you want." I'm like, yeah, it's a bedroom. You're right.
Door's always open.
It's hot, man. It's hot. And the thing that drives me insane, they'll have college football on the TV. There was something going on their 19-inch TV, but they don't turn the sound up.
Yeah. No,
it's muted.
It's not even background noise.
No, it's not. So it was fine. Whatever. I'm not trying to. It was great. It was good to see everybody. That's 4 generations. My daughter to my grandparents. So I thought that was really cool. The highlight of my entire trip though, and I'm curious to know if you were like aware of this. Do you know how our grandparents are treated at the local Whataburger there in town?
So, yes, they are.
Have you witnessed their royalty?
So I've been to the donut store with them several times.
Okay.
And if you haven't gotten grandpa or donuts with grandma and grandpa, it's the same. It's what I assume is the same thing. Like they have a table. It's their table.
Yes.
We have never sat anywhere else in the donut store, and I'm assuming it's probably the same at Whataburger. But they, like, all the people know them, and they know their order, and there's very little, like, business discussion that occurs. It's just, like, get their order ready and get them fed.
Here, they have a parking spot.
Really?
And the employees will notice when they pull up and go out and help them out of the car.
Wow.
Through the front door. Our grandpa simply hands over his card, goes and sits down at his booth, and his food is hand delivered to him with the card back and a receipt. I swear to God, everybody that worked in that Whataburger came up. "Oh my God, Howard, it's so good to see you. Oh, we love you. Can I do anything for you? I work tomorrow. Are you coming tomorrow? Here's my shift. Here's my schedule. Oh, we love you so much. We love you. We love you. We love you."
And we need to tee this up. Like, our grandparents are not wealthy. They're not like they're not oil barons or like.
No, they don't have internet.
They live in a double wide, like straight up. Yeah, they have no Wi-Fi when you go to their house.
No,
don't need it.
It was a sight to behold, man. It was something else. And the custom order, they order the green Halley or
the Hatch green chili burger.
The Hatch green chili.
Yeah.
And it comes, they order one, but they split it in the kitchen and then package it separately. So they get, each get a half of it or whatever. It was wild, man. It was wild. I've never seen anything like it. I guess when you live in a small town, maybe that's
it feels
what you get.
It feels good to know they're getting taken care of, I guess.
Being a regular at a chain though is different.
It is, yeah. But I mean, it's like the only game in town, right? Like, where else are they going to eat? It's like donuts on Saturday morning, Whataburger in the evening.
Apparently, Dairy Queen is the same story.
Yeah, they're just well known in there.
They're just, I don't know, man. They are treated like royalty in that town. I thought it was hilarious. And my very last little tidbit. You know what? I'll save this for crushing.
You saving it for
crushing? How are
you,
man?
I'm good, man. It's been crazy busy. Work's been popping off. Kind of that late fiscal year type rush.
Ooh. You have a lot of business jargon.
Business jargon? Absolutely. No, we have tons of meetings where people are talking about like budgets and timelines and stuff like that. And I don't even want to like aspire to get into it here because it is absolutely like I've been doing it for the last 3 years and it is a snooze fest. But it is important. I guess it needs to get done, so we do it. But it just seems to pick up around this time of year. And I actually, when I took this job, I started around this time of year, and I realized like, oh, I'm learning at one of the busier parts of the year. Like this is straight up learning the job at one of the most difficult times to learn it. So,
right.
But no, other than that, like I'm treading water. I'm doing fine there. And then I will say this. We had 2 dogs that have shown up at my house. And mind you, I already have cats. We have rabbits now. We have chickens. We have turkeys. We have ducks. We have all these animals. Now I have 2 dogs that just showed up. A mom and a pup. I fell in love with this pup, dude.
Okay.
I absolutely. He's like a beagle blue heeler mix. He's one of the most like gorgeous, cool looking pups ever. And so we started feeding him.
You need to go set his ass back on the street. Send him on his way.
Dude, you would not be able to do that to this pup. I'm telling you, man. He's a good boy. He's a good little boy. And he is probably here to stay. And
what's his name?
I named him Pliskin after Solid Snake's alias in Metal Gear Solid 2.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He looked like a Pliskin to me. Wish I had a picture of him. But his mom also comes around with him, but she is really not well. And we're actually kind of trying to figure out someone local who can maybe take her in and nurse her back to health, because we just don't. We are not animal doctors. But we are making sure she's fed and warm and
taking
water.
Pop shots at her.
No, what is wrong with you? What is this disdain?
I'm just kidding.
Contempt for God's creatures that you have. But yeah, I got a little pup that's been. I haven't brought him inside, but I make sure he has a comfortable place to sleep, and I make sure he's well fed. We're not feeding him trash.
Is he like a young? Is he closer to a puppy, or is he?
He's real. Well, of course he's grown. Like this is actually like just since he's been coming around. But over the last week, it really seems like he's shooting up just from being fed on a regular basis.
Nice.
But he's real sweet, man. You could tell he didn't want to be touched, didn't want to be pet at first, and then you kind of let him lick on you a little bit and kind of get your scent. And now
Beagles are cute. I approve of a beagle.
Yeah, this is like he's not as squat as like a beagle. He's got some height to him, I think. So he'll be a.
Do they have the big old ears?
Big floppy ears, yeah.
Okay.
Same kind of like beagle coloration a little bit. I don't know what he is, but he looks like he's got some like maybe beagle, blue heeler in him. I don't know. He's real cool looking dog. So that has been neat. It could not have come at a better time. He's a really sweet little dog. Hoping we can get him like chipped and stuff and bring him in the house.
Yeah.
I will say he did see my cat in the doorway the other day, and I thought he was going to lose his fucking mind. He was like, I don't know what that is, so I will attack it on sight.
Okay, I'll say, was he like scared or was he angry?
Oh, he was like
fight or flight here.
Yeah. No, he was kind of fight. Honestly, he was a little fighty. So, but he's
from the streets, man.
He is.
He's got to know how to defend himself.
He's about that life. He got that dog in him. You know what I mean? So, literally. But yeah, man. It's been other than that, just bringing summer to a close. It's nice. It's not freaking hot in my office. Finally, I can kind of chill.
It's still hot during the day, but we're getting kind of like the California summer effect, where it's hot during the day, but at least it cools off at night. What makes it 100 times better. The heat still kind of blows, but if it will just cool off at night.
Yeah.
And not be 98 degrees when the sun's down, I can deal with that.
I'm psyched for my favorite time of every year is hoodie and shorts weather. That is optimal weather for me. Like when it's cool enough to like I should put on a hoodie, but my legs will be fine. Now we're talking. That's where I want to be. That's the sweet spot.
Cooking.
Shorts and a hoodie.
I love it. We're close.
Yes, sir. We're getting there.
You called it, by the way.
What did I call
when
it?
I got all chilly and I was celebrating it, and you're like, "It's the fake out.
Oh,
it's the fake fall or whatever."
The wardrobe fake out, man. You gotta have something warm that you can remove in a pinch and be back in summer mode, because we're not out of the woods yet. I'm telling you, I knew what I was about.
You did.
I'm saying. We're gonna pivot right now to our segment here called "What Are You Crushing?" where we talk about whatever media, shows, books, tablets, Sanskrit, hieroglyphics that we've been enjoying as of late. Whatever the medium, whatever shape it takes. Anything. Literally
No
anything.
discrimination here.
Nope. I'm gonna kick it to you first, man. What are you crushing?
I got two. They're unique. They're kind of weird. I guess I'll give you my. You know what? I just realized that I think it got cut out of the episode last week. I was gonna do my Spartan Minute.
Oh,
But I think
no.
that part might have been omitted.
Well, give them the quick inside flap. Tee them up so they know what we're talking about.
Very quick. I'm doing a Spartan race next month in October. I got asked by my buddy who's significantly more fit than I am. He's a police officer, college football player. I sit at a desk, so do the math. He asked me, and I'm turning 30 this year, so I thought, what better way to bring in 30 years old than to do something really, really physically hard? So I'm doing it. And then Josh said he would not do it, but I'm doing it anyway.
I did kind of dog on the Spartan race a little bit, but I think it's great that you're doing it. I think my consensus was I would not. I'll watch.
But I think my rebuttal was you have probably done more or less something similar in your life from being in the Army. I never have, like, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe when I was in 5th grade in PE or something. I don't know.
But climbing ropes and crawling through mud and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just something that's like physically demanding and hard.
Hate
I want to
that.
do that. I want to bro down, and I want to do something that's just like mentally and physically a grind. It sounds awesome. I want to do it. So I'm going to do it. And since I brought this up last week, I've trained precisely one time. I'm getting worried
What happened? What happened?
I can't back out. I've already paid for it. I've already signed up. I'm already in a group. So however prepared I am is not relevant to if I'm going to do it or not. I'm doing it. But I won't go into all the details, but as we talked before we started recording, there's a lot going on right now. And getting to the gym is proving to be really difficult at this particular time in my life. Right when I sign up for a Spartan race, I just can't seem to find the time to go work out. So
You're gonna find that time. I told you. It got lost, but I'll coach you, man. I'll be your coach.
I need some. That's the whole point. Was I needed you and the listeners to be my accountability buddy. So, anyways, what I'm crushing is trying to train for something that's really kind of unknown to me. Crushing number 2.
All right.
This is a stupid show that me and my wife have been watching. It's more just background, dumb, brain rot, evening watching. But it's a show called My Lottery Dream House. Have you ever watched this?
My Lottery Dream House. No.
It's this guy named David, and he basically people go on the show that win the lottery, and he will show them houses, and they will pick one at the end. And so it's the same formula every time. It's like Bar Rescue or something. Like if you've seen one, you've seen them all.
How often are people winning the lottery?
There's like 18 seasons worth, so a while.
What?
Yeah.
I thought the odds of winning the lottery was supposed to be astronomical. They got 18 seasons of people winning the lottery and picking houses?
Apparently. And they'll win anything from like we won 500 grand to some people are like we won $10 million on a scratch off.
Get real.
And so he will pick 3 houses. He'll show them to him, and at the end they'll pick a house. So we've been watching that, and I've been thinking maybe I just need to buy some lotto tickets. Maybe that, you can't win the game if you're not playing.
Throw your hat in the ring, man.
Yeah. So the other day, and I was kind of like, you know what? Probably the higher dollar the ticket, the more odds I have of winning. Now, I don't want to go overboard. I'm not going to buy no $50 scratch off. But I did hand over a nice, crisp $20 bill on a little scratcher. And I'll tell you what, you get in your car, start scratching one number at a time.
The heat is on, baby.
The heat is on, man, and you scratch your last number and you've won nothing. It's one of the most defeating, just want feelings.
But there's
ever.
got to be something to it that brings people back into the store. I used to work at a gas station, and we had the scratch counter. We had the glass top with all the spools of the reels of scratch tickets. And people would come in there, dude, and it was sad at how eager, like with triple, as excited as you were to maybe win on your $20, your one-off $20 thing that you bought. These people are absolutely certain that the next ticket's gonna win. Like they have more in their mind. They have surmised some kind of system in the way that these tickets hit, and they keep buying. I used to have this lady who would come in and spend her entire paycheck buying scratch tickets, man. And I want her to put my hand on her shoulder and be like, I'll give you $150 to stop.
What was the biggest winner that you ever saw?
So like people would bring their ticket, like the whole scratching mechanic's kind of like dumb, because all you really do, the ticket knows it's a winner whether it's scratched or not.
Right.
So all you do is you put it in a machine that scans a barcode.
No.
And it tells you how much they won.
I was going to say there's nothing more beaten than buying a lottery ticket and simply handing it over to be scanned straight into the trash.
Yeah.
That is such a beaten at least you get the thrill of scratching one off at a time. Maybe. Oh, not this time.
No. That is
but
100%
to purchase
performative.
And scan is such a beat. I won't do that.
But to answer your question, I think maybe $100, $200. Like I never had any big winners. The Texas lottery, where the state I was doing it in, had a deal where if someone brought in a big winner, like tens of thousands of dollars, that you as the clerk got some money for that. Probably $100, $200, probably nothing crazy, but yeah, people would scratch their ticket right there in front of me, or they'd bring in a big pile of them that they'd collected through the week and just hand them to me, and you would just put them in a slot. And then at the end, it's like tickets at the Chuck E. Cheese. You put your tickets in, and then you get a little stub that says they get this much money.
There's no fun in that. There's no fun. Well, to put a little bow on my thing, I figured if I'm going to win big, it's going to be these obscure gas stations. So to tie it all back, when I was in Baird, I made sure we went by the Allsups, which is still the craziest thing to me. There's two gas stations that are located basically in the same parking lot with nothing around them, with nothing but a 6-inch concrete curb separating the two. Yeah. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. And one of them's gas prices was about 10 cents cheaper than the other one. I'm like,
I don't know.
Who's going to the other one?
I don't understand that at all.
So I walk in Baird Allsups, hand him another crisp $20 bill, get me a scratch off, double my money.
Yeah?
Got me 40 big ones.
Ka-ching?
Cha-ching.
Let's go.
So I'm going to parlay that into a few more tickets, and that's when we're going to hit it big.
This definitely doesn't sound like a slippery slope at all. I'm really excited. This is going to be great. This bodes extremely well for you and for me.
Each week, coming to you, the listener, you're going to get a Spartan Minute and a Lotto ticket update.
A gambling minute.
A gambling minute. And the greatest update of all would be if I just wasn't here.
Yeah. One of these days.
If we don't release an episode, you know what happened.
My name's Josh. I go by Onexpunchxdad online. Welcome to the show. That's it. It's just me now.
Nah, bro. You would be so taken care of.
Seamerd's well came in. Yeah. What's really going to happen is that he makes it really big, and then we don't have to do this at all. We could just say, hey, Hardpoint's over. We made a lot of money. We're good. We give up. Yeah, I get down with that.
Or you know what? I would still do this, but I would just hire a team to do all the bullshit that is not just talking into this microphone.
We just show up Shannon Sharp style.
Yep.
Throw our phone on the bed.
Dude.
And
I would build us like an NBC style fucking studio, just obnoxiously large and overkill.
Yeah.
And we'd show up.
Yep.
We'd record and we would peace out.
Rogan status. Let's go.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, Cody's
all right. What are you crushing? Sorry, I kind of hogged that.
No, it's all right. Cody's crushing the lottery. That's big news. So, I've got a couple what are you crushings, and my second one I think is gonna kind of feed some maybe longer discussion. Hopefully, I don't know. This may be.
I'm really excited to hear it.
It may be something that Cody flat out doesn't give a shit about and does not think about on a level that we could talk about it. But that's okay.
I might lay out on you. You'll never know.
You might. So everyone knows I've kind of been. I've talked about the past couple episodes. Jumped back on the Call of Duty train. Gave Black Ops 6 a good try for the beta. I had a lot of fun with it. But I was really in that mode. I was really in shooter mode. So I jumped back into Modern Warfare 3 again this weekend. And one thing I did that was kind of unique, I was still, I played kind of the typical multiplayer maps. Didn't play any Warzone. I don't know why. I just did not feel the urge, did not want to play Warzone. But what I did do is something that we actually got a write-in a couple weeks ago about, which was, are you a core or a hardcore main? And I mostly have been playing core for really the last several years, but I thought, I want to see how I do at hardcore. And so I loaded up a hardcore map. Did not go well, obviously. I went negative, didn't get too many kills. So I changed up my classes a little bit because I realized like weapon damage and time to kill and all that stuff kind of goes out the window when you're playing hardcore, because even with a pistol, it's pretty much pop, they're dead.
Right.
It's also pop, you're dead. But I am a pistol guy. I love playing with pistols in Call of Duty. I don't know why. It's a very weird thing I have. It feels extremely like there's a crispness to getting a good like pistol kill in Call of Duty, and I cannot describe it. It's hard to do in Warzone because everyone's played it up, and it's kind of hard to do in core. You get good at it, but you're having to put 4 or 5 rounds into everyone that you kill. But in hardcore, it is tap, tap, keep on moving. And I got my groove, and I went, I believe, and I didn't screen cap it, so everyone's going to be like, Pixar didn't happen. I went 64-12.
What?
On a map. I did.
What?
It was a domination, and I didn't have any. I didn't have any crazy. The bummer about it is I didn't have any of the crazy cool kill streaks equipped, but I did have a sentry gun, and I will say the sentry gun is just free kills. The sentry gun is free money. I set that thing up. I found the perfect spot.
I say that's as good as the placement, right?
It is, yeah. You find good placement where they can't get in behind it to disable it, and it's a known spot, like a known bottleneck where they're going to be coming through, especially for domination, right? Because they are trying to take points. They're trying to get to a specific area on the map so they can take that point. It was just unfair, man. And it was absolutely one of those where I finished and I was like, I'm going to be done for a while because I want to ride that wave. I want for the next hour, 2 hours, for the last Call of Duty map I play to just be an unfair fight for everyone else involved. Yeah.
And which game was this?
It was Domination. It was Modern Warfare 3 Domination.
Okay.
Hardcore Domination on.
I never thought about doing a sentry gun on because you can just plan it on A, B, or C, right? I never even thought about that. I've never been a sentry guy because placement is everything. It can be absolutely useless if you have bad placement, or it can be unstoppable, like you were saying, and placing it on A, B, or C where you know people are going to be converging. And you would be getting a defend every kill, right?
So actually, I don't think you get defend credit for the sentry gun kills.
Okay.
But you still get the kills, and those kills count towards more kill streak. So I ran like 3 or 4 sentry guns on that single domination round.
Okay. Dude, that's awesome.
And yeah, dude, it was such a good. And I was bummed because I was like, dude, I would have had the VTOL, I would have had the chopper gunner. I had like
Right.
I think at one point like 13 or 14 straight. Which I know people go well beyond that, but for me that's a big deal. But yeah, I ran some hardcore this weekend, and I had other good rounds. I think I went mostly positive on a lot of the rounds that I played.
Yeah.
Mostly domination. I really getting back into the groove. I will say domination is really just one of the funnest multiplayer modes. I do like hardpoint. Obviously, we love hardpoint here, but domination is just a good cruising speed multiplayer mode for Call of Duty.
Kind of a step up from team deathmatch. It's team deathmatch with an objective other than killing the other team.
It is. It is.
And it is really fun.
And I'm a I think at one point we were the B gang, right? We love taking B. B's where the fight's at. If you take B and your gimme, right? Like your freebie point.
Yep.
And you hold B, it's over.
Yeah.
It's
B
over.
is the swing location. That's where it all goes down.
That's the swing point. You hold B, you hold the keys to the cottage. So
That's awesome, man. 64 and 12 is bananas, bro. Like that is some other shit.
I felt good, and I didn't screen cap it
Yeah.
because I immediately was like, the world needs to know about this, and then I didn't.
That's okay.
I'm normally pretty
I
good.
believe you.
Normally, when we were at the height of our Call of Duty playing, anytime we had a good round, we were just sending each other like
Oh yeah.
caps and screen caps and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
We were laughing Saturday night. My wife and I were chilling on the couch after we got back from Baird, and you were streaming. She just popped on her phone. She's like, "Hey, Josh is live." So I was like, "Pull it up," and she was like, "I should say something," and she was like, "What is some gamer lingo?" And I was like, "Tell him to no scope," and we tried for a good like 10 minutes probably to get your attention. And you would shout out the comment like above and below. And I was like, he probably sees that you're like borderline talking shit and just skipping that one. And then finally towards the very end, I think you glanced at the name and put it all together. And you're like, you should know what no scoping is.
I did. Well, I was like, because it was essentially your wife's name was her go by, and I was like,
Yeah.
I know of that. Is that you? You're not talking like you. I put two and two
She
together.
said, bro's scared to no scope.
Man, she's clearly had help. Thanks for tuning into the stream, though.
Hell yeah.
We said it before we got on pod, but we gotta stream together, man. We gotta get you back.
Yeah.
We gotta Cheek Beater gotta make his re-debut.
We've had a couple people in our in the Discord too. I think people were swapping gamer tags, so maybe we can squad up with Cool Boy and Snake by Pain and
that would
run
be
a
fun.
foursome or something.
That would be fun, man. We had one night, some guys from my Discord, we all got together and played for about 3 hours one night, played Resurgence.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
And we actually had a blast, man. It was a really good time. Shout out Koshak for putting that together. But yeah. We're long overdue, man. Come on. It's on Game Pass. Get with the program.
Do it.
It's your fault. No, I'm kidding. All right. So the other thing I've been crushing, and I want to kind of tee this up because it is, I think for some people, maybe my explanation of this is going to sound insensitive, but I want you to, excuse me. I want you to know I'm approaching it with the utmost like reverence for what this was for the world when it happened. This past week, 9/11 passed, came and went. And I have always had kind of a fascination, not a morbid fascination like, oh, show me the dead bodies.
Right.
But a fascination with that event. I was a 7th grader when that happened. And you don't have to get into like the whole like where I was and what I was doing. Everyone's got their own story, and those stories are important, but why it's important is I rarely sit and consider the magnitude of how, and I say the word awesome not in the sense of like radical. I say like just like
scale.
mouth hanging open scale.
Right.
specifically the Twin Towers was. It's just not like it's been 23 years now. It's been a long time since that happened. I know people that are serving in the Army right now who were not alive when it happened, which is nutty.
That is crazy. That is really wild to put it into perspective like that.
It is, man. I'm telling you. And I say all that to say I have been on a big been watching a lot of 9/11 documentaries, a lot of there's a really good Netflix documentary that I actually just finished last night called oh god, I should have written the name down. I think it's called 9/11 and the War on Terror. Something like that. But it is literally like 9/11 and then basically everything that kind of spawned from that, like go into Afghanistan, go into Iraq, killing Osama bin Laden, all that stuff. But anyway, I bring that up to say it is absolutely bananas to really like give yourself a fresh pair of eyes and consider that someone drove a plane into one of the two tallest buildings in North America, and then did it again.
Right.
Within the same 20-minute span. And then those buildings fell to the ground.
Right.
And these are 110-story buildings. Massive buildings. And they hit in such a way that people above where the planes hit could not get out of the building.
One of the more terrifying facts of this entire ordeal.
Absolutely. The most chilling facet of 9/11 far and away to me. The like takes the medal every time is the people jumping out of the buildings. Is absolutely terrifying. And I'm not typically we don't bring the mood down, and I'm not trying to take this in a patriotic or like overly like mushy direction. I love my country, but that's not what this is about. It is just as a thing that happened in human history is crazy to me that 9/11 happened.
It really to me is one of those things where there's things that have happened in like the worldly history that are so inhumane and so horrible that you can't even wrap your head around the fact that they actually happened. Right. But they happened a long time ago. Yeah. And that doesn't make them any like less bad or anything, but it's almost like they are so unbelievable and they were so long ago that it's hard to wrap your head around the fact that they actually happened. This feels like it's in that category of just of how wild it is, but it wasn't that long ago.
It really wasn't man. Like
that long ago that it happened.
It's a weird thing of like, if I tell you to picture cowboy times and I show you a picture of a man from, I don't know how old the camera is. I think they started as like the 1860s. They took the first photographs. But if I show you a picture of a man from 1860 and 1890, most people arguably would have a hard time telling me which one was from which year, right?
Sure.
And that is a 30-year gap. Mm-hmm. When you look at video footage of the people on the ground in 9/11 that are gawking, understandably, up at this giant hole, airplane-size hole in the side of this even more gargantuan building, this testament to like man's ingenuity, right? They are wearing clothes that probably would pass for like 2024. There's there's the camera quality is what kind of separates it, and you look at some of this footage and you're like, oh yeah, iPhones weren't around.
Like if it happened today, the footage would be there'd be thousands of videos of thousands of angles of this thing.
There are, this is how, it's one of those rabbit holes that, again, like this doesn't come from a place of morbid curiosity. I've been watching videos about like the engineering impacts of like, why did the towers collapse? why did this one collapse first? But there are only about 18 minutes of footage of the second plane hitting the tower, like from the ground. Well, and actually, as I say that includes like news footage. 18 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Of all of downtown New York. 18 minutes of, I mean, that every minute of that had to have been a camera, not a phone. Not even. I mean, even I think the closest thing we had to a cell phone was still like the Nokia.
Oh yeah.
Brick, right? The snake phone.
Right. Yep.
So that's it, and that was 22 years ago, man. It wasn't that long ago. You're right.
Right.
But also, like, yeah, if that happened today, we would have,
dude,
hours. Tens of hours, hundreds of hours of, people who are. I mean, as soon as someone throws a punch in the club, the phones come out.
Right.
So absolutely, something like that, people are absolutely like. It is getting to the point where anytime something like, did you hear like Jane's Addiction got in a fight on stage?
Dude,
is that corny?
I debated bringing that up. Yes.
That's so funny to me. Like, it's just like, y'all aren't even relevant. Why are you fighting? Like, just play your songs, cash your check. But anyway,
have you seen the video of it?
I saw. Well, I brought that up because I saw multiple angles of that fight.
Right.
Like, there was one from like stage right, one from stage left, and one from center stage. And I was like, good. Like, it's like I'm there. Jesus. But it's crazy, man. It's very crazy to me. Like, I don't want to put you on the spot. Like I said, I don't know if this is something that you have an abundance of thoughts about, but like, have you stopped to consider, and not, maybe not on 9/11, but like, isn't that nuts that happened?
It is nuts. And I think maybe so I've been to the 9/11 memorial.
Right. It's very somber.
In New York.
Yeah.
It is. Have you done it?
So I was there the last time I was in New York. Well, the last time I was in New York was 2010, but in 2009, my wife and I went for a honeymoon, and we did go there, and they had just started building the foundation of the new World Trade Center, the big kind of glassy one that's there now. So
okay.
there was no memorial or museum to walk through.
Okay. Were they like the giant fountains though, where the Twin Towers stood? Were those there?
It was all blocked off. It was all
okay.
I went because I similarly back then I was like, I kind of want to just go be in that area. Like, I want to go see it, but it was all cordoned off. You could not walk. There were you couldn't go down by the pools. You couldn't walk the plaza. None of that.
When I went there, it was so where the two towers stood. It was these giant holes in the ground that like water was flowing into them, if it makes sense.
Right,
like where they stood were these just vast like cavities in the ground with these fountains that flowed into it. And yeah, that whole thing was very, remember we did like, they had the little cassette tape, or not cassette tapes, but you put the headphones on and they're kind of walking you through it, and there's different stations. I think about it every year, but that's probably the most I've really sat and just like soaked it in and really, I guess, just kind of thought about what happened. And there's things there like the metal framing that was in the building that is, it's like 2 feet thick. It's just like the thickest piece of steel you've ever seen that is just mangled.
And and so that's a perfect example of like, you watch the towers collapse.
Right.
And it's like it looks like if you took a full vacuum bag and just like puffed it. It just looks like puff. It looks like it just erupts into dust, and you don't consider that is probably millions of tons of concrete and those massive steel girders just
glass
folding in on themselves. Yes. They talk about in one of the documentaries that we didn't recover a mouse or a keyboard or a computer screen.
Wow.
We recovered a corner or a button, or I mean, it pulverized everything as it imploded, pretty much, and that is staggering, man.
Just think about the sheer like power behind that building collapsing. When you see those individual pieces like that, and you realize how big and how thick those things are, and then yes, just to imagine all that stuff kind of like falling like a Jenga set, is really wild. Another thing that just kind of struck me that's really terrifying, if something like that happened today, thinking about all the camera angles and stuff, like you would probably find somebody that took footage of like being in the tower.
Oh yeah,
But like at the top.
There is a absolute non-zero chance that someone in the tower goes live.
Yes. Yeah.
Straight up, like, standing in that. Can you imagine? There's no footage of anyone from the tower watching the plane hit. There's to my knowledge, there's no footage of that. There might be like some glancing like security footage. That's, I mean, it's back in 2001. Like, also like there's only one security camera angle of the plane hitting the Pentagon, and it's like 5 frames.
Right.
It's not. Yeah. It's like a bunch of pictures put together. But can you imagine like the view inside that hole where an airplane, and it's crazy. Like you look at like the North Tower where the first plane hit, and it is a perfect airplane size hole punched into the side of this building. I mean, it literally just like it was Wile E. Coyote. I mean, like not to make light of it, but it really is. It just went boop in the building and exploded. I can't imagine. And then you look at like, sorry, I keep kind of like building on this because I've been on a big kick, not a kick. I've been very fascinated to learn more about this, but you see people standing in that hole that are like waving and trying to get someone's attention, waving for nothing, right? Because they're going to die.
No hope. Yeah.
And they are itty bitty. If you stand next to an airplane, a 737, you're itty bitty.
Yeah.
And so these people you don't even see their faces. They are so tiny.
Right. Like an ant.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's an awful thing. It's an awful thing that happened. And again, like I don't bring it up to say like, hey, isn't it cool to look at all this? Like it's terrible. But it's very, I'm trying to think of the right word, because intriguing just sounds morbid too. It's interesting to take to take a dive into this really, really tragic and unique thing that happened in our history to understand. And there's a lot of like really, it's not like a lot of it's really inspiring. You know, there's a great documentary about the firefighters who responded, you know, and how many of those guys were just like, I'm going up and I'm probably not coming back down. Right. Or if I do, I'm coming down with the building. And they knew that. Yeah. And they went in, and that's nutty. That stuff is super inspiring to me as an American. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a really gushy patriotic person, but my gosh, like you watch these stories, you hear these guys talk about like, you know, it was hell on earth, and it is insane. So
what was that documentary called?
There was one on Netflix.
Watch.
Yeah, there was one on Netflix. I think it's called 9/11 and the War on Terror. That one's a little bit more of a well done up documentary that you know, it's very, very modern touch as far as like the graphics and stuff that they use. And then the one on YouTube that I watched was by these brothers called the Naudet brothers. They're two French brothers. I think it's Naudet were their names. But it's about a 2 or 3 hour documentary. They were embedded with a fire department following a rookie firefighter around and getting, you know, seeing what it was like to be a firefighter in downtown New York. Not a big deal. And they go out on a call for a gas leak, and it is the not the only, but it is the only really like solid footage of the first plane hitting, but it's these firefighters standing on a street, and you see the guy in the frame just kind of look up because he hears a plane fly over downtown Manhattan, which is very non-typical. The camera pans over, and you see American 11 smack into the north side of the North Tower, and it's just from that point on, it is insanity. And the documentary goes through the brothers go downtown, follow the fire department. They go into the lobby of the building with them. You can hear literally, and again, this goes back to like the most chilling facet of this whole thing. All throughout that footage, you hear these loud smacks. Like doesn't sound, it sounds like two cars colliding at full speed. That's people hitting the rooftop of the lobby.
Oh my God.
It is positively gut-wrenching.
Wow.
And it will stop you in your tracks, man.
I'm gonna have to go watch. I'm gonna go watch that, or part of it at least after this. I'll report back. That sounds insane.
It's extremely harrowing, man. And it's I think, especially for Americans who were alive or have any recollection whatsoever, or anyone who wasn't, whatever. Fuck it.
Right.
I think it's important to know that story, and not important as like, yeah, let's go get the bad guys, but like it happened. Americans died. And like Cody said, it was a very draconian, horrible. 3,000 people died that day.
Yeah.
Thousands more have died from just being caught in the cloud when the building collapsed because they breathed.
You weren't even in the building or anywhere near like direct impact, but just the building collapsing.
All that soot and literal concrete and chemicals breathed into their body and have lifelong complications or have died from that. Thousands more. It's insane.
That's wild. I'll watch it. I'll report back next week, and maybe we can touch on it a little more.
It's very, it's somber, but I think it's important, man. And it's definitely like, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a dive on this stuff. And I didn't do it lightly. Again, I don't do it as a joke. I don't do it out of like some kind of live leak, morbid curiosity. It is very much, it just felt like a place I was being led. So I went there.
No, man. That's great. That's great. I'll check it out and we'll talk about it.
Cool.
Good patty melt.
Yeah, that was a good patty melt. No one's going to know what that means, but
There's no context.
Let's go. If there's a patty melt, that means we didn't know what we were going to talk about when the episode opened up. But hey, I felt very impassionate about that. So we got time for maybe like 2 write-ins.
Yeah.
Let's run it. Now that Josh killed the vibe.
No. Just so everyone, so Snakebite Pain putting his gamer tag in here. Cool Boy did. Maybe we can play some games with you guys. All right. Snakebite Pain. Speaking of them, I haven't pre-read this. I'm reading this live
on the air.
Tape.
Better not be
if you guys
craziness. If you guys
am I good?
Yep. If you guys
shut the fuck up. If you guys could or had to do any other job besides your current, and it came with the same level of income, what would it be? Wow. Mine is extremely ironic, and I already have my answer.
What's your answer?
I'd be a firefighter.
Really?
Yes. I have this part of me that's always wanted to be one. I'm like not in New York City,
dude,
probably, but
you got firefighter energy, man.
What's the latest that you can become a firefighter?
I think you're well within the. I don't think you're too old to be a firefighter. You're not even 30.
There's a greater than 0% chance that I become a firefighter at some point in my life.
I think you'd be a great firefighter. You're fit. You got a great facial hair setup. You got firefighter vibes, bro.
Be the perfect excuse to rock a mustache.
You look the
part. My wife couldn't say shit.
Yeah, it's required for a firefighter.
Firefighter, man. I've always wanted to.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Volunteer firefighter. Do it on the side.
Maybe.
Fight the occasional Saturday night fire. I don't know if that's probably not how that works. I would be either a news anchor. I would
Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy. I would be a news anchor or a local talk show host, not like a Jimmy Kimmel or a Jimmy Fallon.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a local talk show host. I would have like a local late night show where I have people from the town come and I do funny bits with them.
Just burning cigarettes late into the night.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I don't smoke, but I'll pick it back up for that.
If you're a late night local talk show host, you have to smoke cigarettes.
Positively. Yeah. Because they still do that.
That sounds awesome.
They're still smoking. But yeah, I'd be a newsman or a late night talk show host.
Well, if your studio catches on fire, just let me know.
I will. It's because I fell asleep with a cigarette in my hand. I don't smoke. I haven't smoked in many years.
Would you guys rather go on a game show? Which one? Or go through a series of scenarios told by brave athos, also to earn a prize like a game show? Edit. Let's call it Game Athos. Is Brave Athos the one that gave us the really weird like?
He tees up very simple questions with very insane pretexts. I don't think I want to subject myself to that man's dungeon master bullshit. No, I'm kidding. I love Brave Athos. He's one of my favorite people who writes into the show. But yeah, I'll just go on Wheel of Fortune or something. Because I know if he puts me in a scenario that's going to be like, the world is ending. If you choose the wrong one, you die. But chocolate or vanilla?
That is perfectly summed up.
That's
like the perfect summary of his write-ins.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So I would
absolutely go on a game show, and I would go on Deal or No Deal, bro.
I don't know how that game's played.
What?
I don't know how.
Have you ever watched it?
No. But I didn't watch a ton of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but I know how that game is played.
I don't understand how Jeopardy works. It's very confusing.
I don't think. Well, Jeopardy's Steve Harvey, right? No, that's Family Feud. Jeopardy.
That was great too.
Jeopardy.
But that's also confusing.
Jeopardy is the quiz questions. It's just
yeah, but like they give you the answer.
No, they don't. You pick a category. I'll pick whatever, like French painters for 500. That if you answer the question in that category correctly, you get $500.
But I think they give you the answer, then you have to the answer is you have to come up with the question or something.
Well, you just have to phrase it as a question. They'll just say like, this 1800s president loved chocolate cake, and then you would answer, who is Taft? Or whatever.
There's literally no reason for it to work like that.
I think Taft
that is
died
like the
in
most
1900s, but
like theatrical, pointless way.
It's all
a question answer.
It's just trivia. That's all Jeopardy is. Jeopardy's very easy. How the fuck do you make a deal? Or
Deal or No Deal?
Deal or No Deal. Yeah. How do you what the fuck are the rules in that? I know aren't there suitcases? Or briefcases? You pick a
suitcase, and whatever number you get, you can take that number off the board, and there's like 0 to like 1,000,000 or whatever. And every time you pick a briefcase, you take that number off the board. And the goal is you want to have the biggest amount left in the last briefcase. But as you're going along, there's a guy up in the booth or whatever. He's faceless, and he'll call you and make an offer.
The fuck? There's an Elden Ring character in this all of a sudden? This is significantly more complicated than Jeopardy. I need you to know that. I know you haven't finished, but
he'll make a deal. He said, I will give you this much money based off the odds of like how many briefcases are left. And you can say either deal, I'll take that. And then they reveal all the briefcases. and like maybe you made a good deal because the briefcases were lower than the amount that he offered you, but maybe you made a bad deal because he offered you, I'll give you 500 grand, but then you open one of your briefcases and there's $1 million in there, so that's a bad deal. But they got the little thing, and they, you got to walk around, and you got to, and then you slam the little plastic thing shut, and you walk around and you're pumping up the crowd like this.
So in Jeopardy, all you have to do is just answer questions, pretty much. If you answer them right, you get money.
Boring.
All you have to do is just know some stuff.
And then answer it with the answer.
Yeah.
Or answer it with the question.
It's not that complicated.
Let's take the most boring, basic thing ever, trivia, and then let's just, how about if they answer it with the question? Boom. Game show.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire would be a fun one, too. But they ask some hard ones. They get some rippers on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I do. I don't
Cool.
think.
Cody likes Deal or No Deal. What are you showing off your
Just, dude.
audio listeners can't see, but Cody's over here like shooting a try shot. He's just like,
no, do you ever like feel something
down-
like just,
like a pimple or
well, maybe, or like a hair or like a something, and just had to check out what's going on back there.
your arm inspection?
I was actually just showing off my tricep.
All right. Let's just own it, man. You ain't gonna lie to kick it. Just throw that try out there. That's going to do it for this week. Again, sorry about last week. That was my goof. Cody wouldn't say it, but I'll say it. That was all me. Hey, episode 45. Thank you guys so much. Kind of took a turn this week, not going to lie. I don't think I anticipated it getting quite so somber with the 9/11 talk there, but it is important, right? That's something that,
I enjoyed it. No, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Might touch up on that one again if Cody catches the documentaries. So
I'll watch that. I don't know if fun's the right way to describe it, but I enjoyed our talk.
It is interesting, and as an American, I think it is edifying. It is something that I think you can appreciate. There's some hard to watch stuff in there too, So maybe if you're thinking about it, but you don't like seeing people die or hearing people die, maybe stay away. Maybe read the book. But yeah, episode 46 next week. Looking forward to it. Hey, if you like the episode and you're watching, like it, subscribe to the channel. That would be radical if you did that. If you're listening, leave us a review, a little star rating, leave a comment. I think you can do that now. That's neat. And show your support to the Hardpoint.
Say deal to the hard point, not no deal.
No. Say, what is the Hardpoint? Like they would on Jeopardy. Deal or no deal. Baja blessings to each of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for episode 46.
Fisted by.
Get fisted. What is it? My fists are hungry.